All right, we're going to talk about simplifying expressions with function notation. And so let's just do a quick review on function notation. Looking at this graph on the left, y equals p of x, find p of 1. Okay, so this means that that 1 is my input, which is my x, and then I go to find my y, so p of 1 equals 5. And then solve where p of x equals 6. That means that's my output, or my y. So here's my y, and there's the point. So what x value gave me that? Oh, it's 2. So x equals 2. Okay, or you could say p of 2 equals 6. All right, the domain of this function looks like it goes, now the domain is the x-axis, looks like it goes from -7 all the way to 5. Okay, and -7 is solid and 5 is not. So we're going to write solid on -7 and +5 will be round. Now the range is, let's change that to blue, pink. So the range is going to go from, on the y-axis, it looks like it goes from -3 all the way up to 6. And 6 is solid and -3 is not. So we'll go from, oops, can't use that if it's not solid. So we'll go from open -3 to solid 6. Okay, so that should be a little review. Let's talk about how we would find, we've played a little bit with evaluating expressions, but now what we want to do is do a little bit more algebra. So here's our function, -2x squared. I'm going to use the same function for a lot of different examples, okay, to try to make it clear. All right, so first of all, what we're going to do is find, I'm going to make this bigger. Okay, we want to find f of -3. Well, that means that we take -3 and we put it into our function -2x squared plus x. So instead of x, we're going to put a -3. And then all we have to do is follow order of operations. So we'll do our exponents first. So -3 squared is 9. And then we'd have to do multiplication before we do addition. So we'll multiply these two. -2 times 9 is -18 plus -3. And finally, we have f of -3 equals -21. Okay. And let's do that again with f of x. Oh, this one's different now. We're not evaluating f of anything. We're taking f of x and we're subtracting 1. All right, so let's take our f of x. So f of x is -2x squared plus x. And then we just subtract 1. And guess what? That's it. We can't simplify that or anything. That's our answer right there. Okay, and it's even in standard form, which is with the highest power first. Okay, now we have the same function right here, only this time we're going to do f of x minus 1. Now, I want you to pay attention to the difference between this and what we just did. So this one was f of x and then subtract 1, whereas c is f of x minus 1. Okay, so the other one was f of x minus 1, and this is f of x minus 1. All right, so what we do is we have to put that whole x minus 1 inside where our x is. Okay, so we've got x right there. So we're just subbing it in. So let's put our x minus 1 inside that x squared and inside that x. Okay, that's all you're doing. You're just subbing it in. And then we have to do algebra in order of operations to simplify it. So we'll do our power first. So -2, x minus 1 squared. I'm going to write it out because it's easier for me to FOIL that. So I need to multiply, I'm going to leave that -2 alone and then multiply these two. X times x times -1, -1 times x, and -1 times -1. Okay, and I'm just going to rewrite that. Now I'm going to simplify. inside this, I have x squared, negative x, and negative x is negative 2x, and there. Still working on that, okay. I'm going to distribute the negative 2, so it goes on the x squared. Negative 2 times negative 2x is positive 4x. Negative 2 times plus 1 is negative 2. Plus, and there's nothing to distribute there except the positive 1. So, and finally, I'm going to combine my like terms. There's 2 of them. There's 2 of them. And my could be my final answer. Let's see, negative 2x squared, 4x and 1, that's 5x, and minus 2 minus 1 is negative 3. Woo, so f of x minus 1 turned out to be this answer right here. That's a lot different than this one, because that one was short and sweet. All right, so there's the difference, okay? The 1 is outside the parentheses here, so you just subtract 1. But if it's inside the parentheses, you've got to put it inside the x. Okay? All right, let's try a couple more. Same function. Okay, so this one says find f of negative x, where the negative is inside. This one says find the negative or the opposite of f of x. All right, these are two different things. So f of negative x means we stick the negative x inside wherever the x is in my function. So I leave it blank to show you where I'm going to put it. So whatever the x is, that's what's blank. Okay, so I stick that inside and inside, and now I'm going to do order of operations, and I'm going to square negative x. So negative x times negative x is positive x squared. Okay, and I put that there because I didn't write them close. Okay, so then this just becomes negative 2x squared minus x. That's what f of negative x is. Okay. Now the opposite or different here is it says negative is outside. That just means I need the opposite of my function. So I'm going to put negative, and then what is my function? It's negative 2x squared plus x. And then I just distribute that negative in. So that becomes a positive 2x squared and a minus x. So negative f of x equals that. So I hope you can see the difference. When the negative is inside, it stays inside wherever inside the function. And if it's outside, it just negates the whole function. Okay, I think we have the same function. And this time we're going to put in f of 5x. So that just means that's my input. So negative 2, wherever my x is, that's where I'm going to put the 5x. So I'm just going to put my 5x here and my 5x here. And then I just need to follow order of operations. So I'm going to square my 5x first. So squaring the 5 is 25, and x squared is x squared. And then I don't really need this in parentheses over here, but just to keep it in pattern. Now I'm going to distribute, or not distribute, there's nothing to distribute, there's no plus. So I'm just going to times this, so I get negative 50x squared. And pleading that 5x down, and I'm done for this one. Okay, now this one has a couple of things. It says find 1/2 of f of 2x. Okay, so I'm going to have 1/2 of f of 2x. So I might find f of 2x first and then do 1/2. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so first I'm going to find, let's see how much room I have. Lots of room. Okay, so first I'm going to find f of 2x. So f of 2x is, remember, I stick it inside my function, negative 2x squared plus x. So I'm going to put my 2x inside. And then don't forget, I have to take 1/2 of this afterwards. But let's make this a little neater. So I'll do order of operations, negative 2. 2x squared is, 2 squared is 4, and x squared plus 2x. And then I'll just multiply these together. So I get negative 8x squared plus 2x. That's what f of 2x is. So now I need 1/2 of f of 2x. So I just need to do 1/2 of negative 8x squared plus 2x. Okay, so I'm just going to divide both of those by 2. That's what taking 1/2 is. So it's going to be negative 4x squared plus 1x. Okay, bringing the 1/2 of that and 1/2 of that. So my final answer, 1/2 of f of x equals negative 4x squared plus x. Okay, now I believe you are ready to start the problems for this section and practice on your own. So let's go ahead and stop this video and we'll continue on the next section.